Okay, guys, today again we'll take lesson 5, factors and multiples, page 295. Open your books and leave everything and just pay attention here with me on the board. Leave everything and just pay attention here with me on the board. Now we have two things here we need to know. We need to know them. Two concepts, factors and multiples. Let's start with factors first. Factors, guys, factors. Now, to know the factors for a number are the divisors for other numbers, are the divisors for a number. For example, look here, guys, and pay attention, please, to understand what's the meaning of factors. Factors are the divisors for a number. For example, if I want the factors for the number 12, for the number 12. Now, to know the factors for the number 12, I will search in the multiplication table about two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 12, like 3 and 4. 3 multiply 4 is a 12, like 6 and 2. 6 multiply 2 is a 12. These are commas, guys, comma, 3, 4, 6, 2. Like a 12 and 1. If you multiply 12 by 1, you get a 12. So the factors for 12 are 3, 4, 6, 2, 12, and 1. Any two numbers, if you multiply them, you get the wanted number here. We call it factor. So what we call these numbers, guys, we call them factors for 12. Factors for 12. Now, what I mean by say the factors are the divisors for a number. Divisors means 12 can divide on 3. 12 can divide on 3, which is 4, and the remainder is 0. And 12 can divide on 4, which is 3, and remainder is 0. And 12 can divide on 6, which is 2, and remainder of 0. And 12 can divide on 2, which is 6, and remainder of 0. And 12 can divide on 12, which is 1 and remainder of 0. And the 12 can divide on 1, which is 12 with remainder 0. These numbers here, the divisors, we call them factors. We call them factors. So we can bring them from the multiplication table, and we can bring them by thinking of the divisors. When I say divisor, means I can divide and remainder 0. For example, why the 5 is not a factor for 12. Why the 5 is not a factor for 12? Because 5 multiply what equal 12? There is no number. If you multiply it with 5, you get a 12. So 5 is not a factor for 12. And also 5 is not a divisor for 12. 5 is not a divisor for 12. Means if you divide 12 by 5, it will be 2 with 10, subtract 2, we have remainder. So no number here multiplied by 5 equal 12. At this case, the 5 is not a factor for the number 12. Another example to find the factors, if I have the number 18, what are the factors of the number 18? I will think in the timetable about two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 18. Now, if you don't memorize the timetable, don't stay here. Do not stay here. If you have a problem in the timetable, go back to grade 4 and memorize the timetable and come back to grade 6. So this is timetable, guys. We are adult students now. Now, what are the numbers? If you multiply them, you got 18. We have 18 and 1. We have 6 and 3. We have 9 and 2. If you multiply 18 by 1, 18, 6 by 3, 18, 9 by 2, 18. What we call these numbers? We call them factors of 18. Factors of 18. Can I use the division? Yes. If you divide 18 on 18, the answer is 1. If you divide 18 on 1, the answer is 18. If you divide 18 on 6, the answer is 3. If you divide 18 on 3, the answer is 6. If you divide 18 on 9, the answer is 2. If you divide 18 on 2, the answer is 9. So these are the divisors. The divisors. What are the divisors? Means if you divide, when I say divisor, if you divide on 2, for example, 9 by 2, 18, what's the remainder here? 0. Because 9 multiplied 2 is 18 directly. So at this case, what we call the 2 divisor of 18? We call it factor. We call it factor. Why the 7? Why 7 is not factor for 18? Because in the timetable, 7 multiply what equal 18? There is nothing. 7 multiply nothing is 18. There is no number. If you multiply it with 7, you got 18. I'm talking here about integers, not decimals. And if you divide 18 on 7, what you will put here? You will put here 2, 14, subtract 4. So we have remainder. It is not 0. So the 7 is not a divisor. Not a divisor. Not a divisor means not factor. Not a divisor means not factor. Assume that we have big number. Assume that we have big number like 70 or 72. 72. How we find the factors of big numbers, guys? To find the factors of big numbers, and focus here, please. Focus. I will make it more big. 140, for example. Now, in the timetable, it's difficult to find numbers. If you multiply them, you get 140. But for 18, for 12, we have, yes, Muhsin, yes, 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 تفضل.
Mr.
ايش يا محسن؟
We don't
Yes.
can put point up and put 0 down. If in 7 here
لا يا
equal
مسلم,
4.
لا, I'm talking about different thing here. I'm talking about different thing. Okay? Can the 18 divide on 7? Can?
No.
Can we have whole number here, multiply it with 7, you got 18, like the 9? No. So here, the 7 is not a divisor. I'm not talking about the division to continue. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, is 7 divisor or no? 7 is not a divisor because the remainder is not 0.
Mr.
But 2 is a divisor because they understand it. Yeah. Now let's talk about this number. How we find factors for the number 140. It's kind of big number. Now we'll use something, we call it, look here guys, we call it a three-way. A three-way. We took three-way before. We took a three-way before. It is factorization, if you remember. Now the 140, I will think about two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 140. I will think about two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 140. But I don't know. I don't know. Hello? If you don't know two numbers, if you multiply them, you get 140. What's here we have? We have 0. The 0, it's even. Now, what are the even numbers? What are the even numbers? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now, if the first number is even, means the number can divide on 2. Can divide on 2. So let's divide 140 on 2. It will be 7, 14, subtract 0, 0, 0. So what's the answer? 70 means if you multiply 2 with 70, the answer is 140. So the two numbers, if you multiply them, you get 140 is 2 and 70. We make them like this, three-way. We call it a three-way. So think about two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 140. Think, divide, check, guess, get two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 140. Now we will do the same for these two numbers now. The 2. Can we have two numbers? If you multiply them, you got 2. It's only 1 and 2. If we have only 1 and 2, we call it a prime, if you remember. So no need for it. We cannot do it. If you cannot do it, make it circle like this. Now let's go to the 70 here. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 70. 7 with 10. Right? 7 with 10. Top. The 7. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 7. We have only 7 and 1. If we have only the number and 1, no need for it. We stop and put a circle like this. How about the 10? Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 10, which is 2 and 5. 2 and 5. The 2, can we do more? No, because we have only 2 by 1. 5, can we do more? No, because we have only 5 and 1. If we cannot do more, we put circles like this. Like this. Now, what is the 140? We can write it like, look, 2 multiply 7, multiply 2, multiply 5. The numbers with circles, if you multiply them, you get 140. So 2 by 7 by 2 by 5. This we call it prime factorization, guys. We took it in grade 5. Prime factorization. Prime factorization. So here, for example, if I want to go do the 18, 18 is 9 by 2. 9 is a 3 by 3 by 2. This we call it prime factorization. For example, the 12, it is 6 by 2. 6 by 2. But the 6, 3 by 2, and the 2 comes down. This we call it prime factorization. Prime factorization. So sometimes we can use, to find the factors, the timetable. We can use the three-way. It depends on you. Let's take another example about the three-way. For example, if I have 256, look here, 256. I want to do three-way to find the factors like this, the prime factorization. So I will think about two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 256. I don't know, but the first number here is even, so I can divide on 2. So I will go here and divide on 2. 256 divided by 2. 1, 2, subtract 0, 5, 2, 4, subtract 1, 6, 8, 16, subtract 0. So what? 2 by 128. So if you multiply 128 by 2, you will get 256. So come back here. Can we do more for the 2? We have only 2 by 1, so put a circle. Now let's go here, 128. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 128. I don't know, but the first number is even, so I can divide on 2 also. 12 by 2, 6. 12, subtract 0, 8, 4. So 2 by 64, 2 by 64 is 128. Can we do more for the 2? No, put a circle. How about the 64? Now it comes smaller. The 64 in the timetable, we have 8 by 8. We know that. But the 8, it is 2 by 4. We know that. Can we do more for the 2? No, circle. Can we do more for the 4? Yes, it is 2 by 2. And the 2s, we cannot do more, huh? Circles. How about the 8? How about the 8? 8 also is 2 by 4. And the 4 also 2 by 2. So we have a lot of circles here. When we stop and put circle, guys, if we cannot do more, So the 256 now equal. Let's do the prime factorization. Look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But always the first number even? No, not always. Let's take another example. For example, if we have 355, the first number here is odd. The 5 is odd. So we cannot divide on 2 like the previous examples. At this case, we try 3 and 5. We try 3 and 5. Let's try 3. 3, 5, 5 divided by 3. Here 1, 3, subtract 0, 5, 1, 3, subtract 2, 5, 8, 24, remainder 1. The remainder 1, it's not a divisor, so the 3 by 118 is not a 355, so my choice for 3 is incorrect. Let's try not 4, 4 is even, let's try the 5. 355 divided by 5. 3 cannot, 35 on 5, 7. 7 by 5, 35. Subtract 0, 5, 1, 5, subtract 0. 5 minus 5, 0. So the remainder is 0. Now, if you multiply 5 by 71, you will have 355. So here, 5 by 71. Can we do more for the 5? We have only 5 by 1. No. But how about the 71? If you search the timetable and you search anything, you won't find two numbers if you multiply. So we cannot do more. 5 equal 5 by 71. So sometimes if we have small numbers, like for example 36. 36 is a small number. No need to do three-way. If you like to do three-way, it will be easy. Look here. 36, it is 6 by 6 or 9 by 4. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 36. 6 by 6. Of the 6, 2 by 3. The 6, 2 by 3, right? So here, what we have here, the 2 we cannot do more. The 3 we cannot do more. Also the 2 and 3 put circles. So the 36 equal 2 by 3 by 2 by 3. This is what we call it, guys. Prime. We call it prime factorization. We did that before. We did that before. This is how we deal with factors and the prime factorization, how we factorize a number. And later on, we'll talk about multiples. But before I move to the multiples, ask me your questions if you have. Muhammad Kamil.
Yes, Mr. In the prime factorization, we can put power like in the example.
Yes, we can, but we don't need the power for now. We need this. We need it later on. We need. I will tell you why we need it, but later on we'll take another thing in this lesson.
Okay.
You understand everything else?
Yes, everything is very easy because you're a smart teacher.
Sure. Thank you.
Welcome.
You are the smart student. Tamim.
Yes, Mr. Sorry, yeah. Mr. Okay, the two steps that you write it, we can choose the one.
No. For example, here, look here.
Yeah.
2 is only 2 by 1, right?
Yeah.
2 by 1 is how much?
2.
So the same number. So it's not useful for me. Got it?
Okay.
Here,
okay,
the
Mr. What
give me
is
two numbers. If you multiply them, yeah, mister.
Okay.
Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 7.
1 and 7.
Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 7.
Mr. We don't have. We have only 1.
كيف يعني 1 1 لحاله ايش يعني 1 multiply ايش 1 multiply ايش يا ابني
1 multiply 7, Mr. I said.
say 7 and 1 say like that. Don't say 1 alone like 1. No, it is 1 and 7 together. If you multiply them, you got 7.
Okay, Mr.
Now 7 by 1 is 7. So the one here is not useful. No need to write it. خلاص. You stop and put what?
7. Okay.
A circle. But here the 8, we have 2 by 4, right?
Yeah.
So we do it. 4, we have 2 by 2, not 1. Okay?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Well, do you understand? Right. Hussein.
Mister, I don't understand the question, the example.
أي example يا مستر؟ I wrote a lot of examples here. Which example?
The example 140.
I will give you example and I will solve it together with you, okay?
Example 2. Example 2. I don't understand.
لا لا خلك من example 2. I will give you an example and we'll do it together, me and you, okay? To understand the idea.
Okay.
You know the number 100, right?
Yeah.
Now I want to do prime factorization for the number 100. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 100. Do you know?
Yeah. Like 50 and 2.
ماشي. 50 and 2. We have also 10 by 10. 10 by 10 is 100.
Equal
25 by 4 is 100. 20 by 5 is 100. 50 by 2 is 100. So I have a lot of choices for the 100. You choose 50 by 2, right? It's okay.
Yeah.
Now here, give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 2.
1.
Give me two numbers. If you multiply these two numbers together, the answer is 2.
2.
You need to multiply ايش? I want two numbers. You're giving me to one number. Give me two numbers, not one number.
Two multiply by.
2 multiplied by what?
By 1.
Say 2 and 1, not 1 alone, not 2 alone, 1 and 2, right? So we have 1 and 2. If we have only 1 and 2 and we have only 1 here, no need to write it. No need. We don't use it. خلاص. Put a circle here. Got it?
Yeah.
Now give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 50.
10 and 5. 10 and
5. Yes, 10 and 5. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 10.
5 and 2.
5 and 2. Look here. Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 5.
1 and 5.
1 and 5 only.
We don't
so we have
need
the circle.
one.
Here.
Yep. One
put a circle. Here.
Here we put a circle.
Also a circle because we have only 2 by 1. Got it?
Yep.
Now how we write the 100? Look, 100 equal the multiplication of the circled numbers only. The circled numbers. 5 by 2 by 5 by 2. Got it?
Okay. Got it.
This is what we did it here.
This only example?
Yep.
See them, sir.
Sulaiman.
Mister, if the number ends with 0 or 5, we could divide it with 5?
Yes, exactly. The number, for example, 650. We have 0. You can use 0 and you can use 5. Yes.
That's my only question. Thank you.
Yep. And you can use 2, by the way, because the 0 considered as even number. Shukri.
Teacher, is it all the odd numbers? Oh, we put on it circles. Like if we see odd number, we put circle.
La. Look at 18.
Yeah.
Give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you got 18.
9 by 2.
9 by 2. 2. We know that. But the 9 is odd. Can we do more for the 9?
No, it's just, yes, 3 by 3.
Huh? So no, not odd means we cannot do like the 15. 15 is odd, right? 5 by 3. So no, not the odd numbers we stop. No, depends on the number itself.
Yeah.
depending on the number itself.
Yeah. Thank you, teacher.
Welcome. Any questions, guys? Ask me. Ask me, guys. Any questions? Fine. Let's now go to the book. This is what we call it factors, guys. خلاص? Factors. Let's go to the next, before we go to the book, let's go to the multiples. What's the meaning of multiples? Multiples, it's easier than the factors. Look here and understand it very well, please. Now, how to find multiples for the number? Multiples. Focus, guys. We have factors, we talked about it here. Now multiples, multiples. Now to find the multiples for the number 6, I want to find multiples for the number 6. I have 6 and I want multiples. If I want the factors, في فرق بين factors or multiples. Factors for 6, focus guys, focus please. Factors for 6 are 2, 3, 6 and 1. بس factors. But now what I want? Multiples. Multiples for 6, we will depend on multiplication. Let's start with the multiples for 6. 6 by 1, 6. 6 by 2, 12. 6 by 3, 18. 6 by 4, 24. 6 by 5, 30. 6 by 6, 36. 6 by 7, 42. 6 by 8, 48. 6 by 9, 54. 6 by 10, 60. 6 by 11, 66. 6 by 7, 6 by 12, 72. 6 by 13, 78. 6 by 14, 84. 84. 6 by 19, 6 by whatever, 90. Okay? We have a lot of multiples. We can go forever. Go forever. Okay? We have a lot of multiples for the 6. طيب. From where we stop depends on the question. For example, look here, guys. Find the first 5 multiples for the number 4. Hello? I want the first 5 multiples for the number 4. I depend on the multiplication table. So I want 5 multiples for the number 4. 4 by 1, 4. 4 by 2, 8. 4 by 3, 12. 4 by 4, 16. 4 by 5, 20. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 multiples. If I want to do more, I do more. It depends on you. But always small numbers? No. If I want, for example, multiples for the number 32, big number, big number. Look here. I want multiples for the number 32. I will start. 32 by 1, 32. 32 by 2, 64. 32 by 3, 96. 32 by 4, I don't know. 32 multiply 4. I do know multiplication. 8, 12, 128. 32 by 5, I don't know. 32 by 5. 0, 1, 16, 160. And do more. So any number, I can find multiples for it by multiplying it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as much as you want. This is, we call it multiples. Now, who can give me, guys, multiples or 4 multiples for the number 9? Give me 4 multiples for the number 9, Yazid.
9.
This is the number 9, ya Yazid. Give me 4 multiples for the 9.
9 multiply 1 equal 9.
So 9.
9 multiply 2 equal 18.
So 18.
9 multiply 3 equal 27.
So 27.
9 multiply 4 equal 36.
So 36. I have 4 multiples for the number 9. This is enough. So how we find multiples, guys? By multiplying from its own concept here. Multiples by multiplying. So look here, guys, and focus with me now to understand the main difference between multiples and factors. It's very important. For example, if we have the number 12, I can find two things for the 12. Factors and multiples of 12. Factors for 12 give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get a 12. 1 and 12. 6 and 2. 4 and 3. What we call them? Factors for 12. But multiples for 12, no. I multiply the 12. A 12 by 1, 12. 12 by 2, 24. 12 by 3, 36. A 12 by 4, 48. A 12 by 5, 60. A 12 by 6, 72. And go more, as much as you want. So we call these numbers factors for 12. These numbers multiples for 12. It's very important. It's very important. It is very important. Let's go to the book. Let's go to the book. Let's go to the book. Now go to the book, guys. There's 295. 295, let's leave things there. Yeah. We are on page 295, guys. Yeah. Before we go to the book, just give me a second. Before we go to the book, give me a second, please. Look here, guys. We want to find something, we call it greatest common factor. Greatest common factor. Greatest, the biggest. Common means something here and here. Common, mushtarak. Factor, we know the factors. For example, if I have two numbers like 8 and 12, 8 and small numbers, and I want the greatest common factor, and we will call it greatest G common factor. Greatest common factor, okay? Let's find the greatest common factor for 8 and 12. Let's list the factors for 8 and the factors for the 12. What are the factors for 8? It is 1, 2, 4, and 8. 1 times 8, 2 times 4. But for the 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1 by 12. 1 by 12, 12. 2 by 6, 12. 3 by 4, 12. Now, what are the common, guys? The common means here and here. Exist here and exist here. 1, 2, 4. في common غيرهم؟ لا. These are the common factors. Huh? The common factors. The common are 1, or 2, or 4. But I want what? The greatest common. Which is the greatest common? 4. So the greatest common factor for these two numbers is 4. Is 4. This is, we call it how to find the greatest common factor by listing the multiple, listing the factors, sorry. If we have big numbers, I will use the three-way. But how? Next lesson, we will know how. Thank you so much. Today, don't have homework. Tomorrow, guys, you have online assignment. It started at 2 p.m., okay? Tomorrow. But don't do the homework of this lesson. This period only, it's an introduction for it. So just don't do the homework. In the next period, inshallah, we will start from the book, do the exercises, and let you do the homework. But tomorrow, inshallah, I will have online assignment starting from 2 p.m. and ending at Saturday, 9 p.m. Thank you so much and have a good day.